So I'm down at West Bar. I'm going to take you up Tenter Street. Then I think it's Broad Lane rather than Broad Street, but we'll find out when we get up there. So here we have the old fire station, and at the side of it also was the police station at West Bar. That takes you down to the old A61, which is now by the Inner Ring Road. And if you go down here, you'll see the Soho Gardens and Soho Yard. Now I'm on the edge of what was the city centre. If you look at these buildings along here, this is like the financial district. That's actually an old pub, but it's not an old pub anymore, it's something else. But you need to be really aware that Sheffield City Council want to urbanise the city centre. They've never asked us for permission to do that, and now they want to build a further 20,000 houses in Sheffield city centre, or 20,000 more apartments or whatever it is. So you're talking probably 30,000 more people in the city centre, but that's not what city centres are for. But I think what they've done is the Inner Ring Road that they're charging on now is to actually kill off any trade in Sheffield city centre, and then they've got their plan. I think they're only bothered about students, where they can earn £9 a year plus £6 accommodation, and on top of that the landlords will have to pay the council tax for all the apartments. And then the other thing now they're pushing is people living in the city centre, and they're after the council tax, aren't they? It's quite obvious. But like I said, the city centre is for shopping, for commercial, for offices, entertainment. And when you get out from this area here, it was then light industry, and if you look on the right side, that was all light industry over there. Well, it isn't anymore, and I'll take you on that journey now up Tenter Street. I forgot the name of this pub here, but I remember dropping my granddad off for a Coldstream Guard meeting here in the past. It's quite a decent crest on the front of that building. Sheffield Chief, and like some arrows. But my granddad was Chief Inspector in there of Sheffield Constabulary, not South Yorkshire, who aren't real policemen. They're only there for what income they can get now, and that was my granddad's biggest complaint against the police. They weren't dealing with real crime anymore, they were after soft crime. Anybody doing 3 miles an hour above the speed limit, they want to catch you on a speed camera and make money out of you. Grandad really wasn't happy with that. So we have got here now where it says Hampton and Hilton. That was the modern West Bar police station back in the 60s. And my mother tells me about my granddad arranging a line of people to pass all the office files from one building to the next. Now can you imagine them doing that nowadays? I left HSBC in 2000, and all the right hand side other than this building was either low level industrial use or car parking. Now this building here, it says Holman House on it. When I started at Midland Bank in 1985, this building here, the tall building, was Jubilee House, and it had a really nice reception, a granite reception, and that's all gone now. We had like a self-contained room with 8 people in. We were Midnet Voice. We controlled the voice network across the country. I think it was one of the first private voice networks, and it was an absolute privilege for my first year at Midland Bank to work in that building. And that takes you on to Queen Street. So like here, we're on the edge of the financial area, or it was the original financial area. Then on the right hand side of Tenter Street was industrial lands, little mesters and things like that. Well, look at all these massive things. When I talk about 20,000 more houses being built in Sheffield, I think it's more than 20,000. It's just the start of that. So they're attacking Neaps End next. It's full of little engineering businesses. It's thriving, and they want to give it the 15-minute city treatment, and that will kill all those small businesses off, putting double yellows everywhere, changing the road system, putting cycle lanes in and a bus gate. So we're now approaching what's now called the Pennine 5. Now, back in 1986, I moved from Jubilee House into what was then Griffin House. It's about 12 stories, this front building. We used to have 3 restaurants on the top floor, personnel in here and everything for Midland Bank. You can see these massive new developments, and all up these side streets there was industry. You can see all these flats everywhere. It's all student flats. They just see 19 grand a year income from a student. So we're on Silver Street and I'll tell you the postcode for it. It's S13GG. I haven't worked at Midland or HSBC for 20 years and I can still remember that postcode. Up here got a 3 tons pub. That used to be absolutely heaving with bankers and solicitors and whatever else you want to call them that rhymes with bankers. So this is all accommodation. I think one bit, PlusNet was here, the Sheffield internet provider that you see with the quirky advertisements on the TV, but they got bought out by BT. I still think they still run as PlusNet because I'm with them, but they're not in their own little offices anymore. But I just want to show you the Pennine 5. So if you now look at this building, this is the old, we had blocks 1, 2 and 3, there's blocks 4 and 5 round back, and we had quite a lot of people in this building, crossing Courtwood House and various other buildings like Oil Street in Sheffield, and now they're cramming them in to one small building called Grosvenor House. Other than the entrance hall, which I think looks a lot nicer than it did in Griffin, I'm not right impressed with Grosvenor House. And I spoke to the person who was actually asked to move people from here to the new Grosvenor House, and they turned down the job. Everybody's job was going to be you just come in and find a desk when you was at work. Forgot what they call that, hot wired or whatever, I can't remember its name. And she turned that job down, so it was actually ridiculous. I think you got 4 times as many people wanting to use the building than's actually in it. So this was all industrial use. Anybody who's from my era at Midland HSBC will be absolutely shocked. St Vincent's Church up there, it's now hidden by all the buildings. Would have stood out above everything. So you've got the Pennine Centre. Now what they're doing is, which is a positive thing, is they're opening out the inside of it, I think where the car parking was on the first level. So that might be quite good. One of the problems I found is when Midland got took over by HSBC, it started getting asset stripped, and like we went from 3 decent restaurants to half a restaurant, and they'd be putting sandwiches on and things like that, and it was rubbish. We've now got the job centre in there, and I was in block 3 floor 5, which is a 6th floor up. In here there used to be a walkway across there. I had 14 years in that building roughly, and this is what I thought was going to happen. There was something called the Royal Oak Bakery here. We used to get sandwiches from here. I think it was originally the Royal Oak Pub, and that's more Sheffield history just being erased. They're cleansing us, it's another reset. So like same again up here, we had footprint and tools, and now all we've got is these flats everywhere. We could park on the streets, the double yellows. I used to be able to park right down here, there were no double yellows, and they started putting double yellows on, and all I could do was park over the top at the back. But it's just so awful up here. This really is 1984. But I just had a feeling this Royal Oak Bakery was being knocked down. That's why I'm doing my videos. I just want to show people what's happening. If you don't fight for Sheffield, it's going to die. You've got to get out and fight for Sheffield. You've got to vote for different political parties, not Labour, Liberal or Greens. Not even the Tories. You can't trust the Tories either, because they are pushing the nonsense. And I won't mention it because I'll get a caption on my video if I do. There's block 3. Like I said, I was on the 6th floor of this for about 13-14 years. So there you've got it again, and the little Royal Oak Bakery is going, being knocked down. Sheffield history just been erased. And that is why I want to capture. I want to show people that you're being reset. It's the 4th Industrial Revolution. You didn't vote for it, but you're going to get it because you're not fighting for it. We've got another march demonstration on the 25th of March in Sheffield. We've had about 250 turn out on the 4th and 25th of February. We need 1,000. Really need people out to fight for Sheffield. Because what's happening is the universities are taking over. These people that come in from university want to live in the city centre. Well, it ain't their city centre, it's ours. I go back 200 years with Sheffield and my family tree, and I'm not happy what they've done to my city. Basically, the students are trying to take it over once they stay in Sheffield. They want to change Sheffield into an urbanised place where they can all cycle around on the bikes and sit outside the coffee shops all day. If you want that, clear off somewhere else. This is Sheffield, not Barcelona. We really need some fight now from the Sheffield folk. We've got to fight for what we've got left, and we can turn it back. If you start voting for political parties that look after you and not themselves. So we're now on, it's actually Broad Lane. So Another little thing here, they've got something called Butler's Bounty, and they've just done a petition because they found out that people are going to have to pay to park on the streets around here now. They're being attacked. I warned people about this back in July 2020. Well, this is what was happening, but that's going to hit their business if people are having to pay to park around here. But they've not communicated with me. I messaged them. I even asked to do a video with them so they could get the feelings out and get it on our campaign against the Clean Air Zone on Facebook, and I've heard nothing. So, you know, if you don't want to fight with us, you're going to lose. We've all got to get together as a team. But all this is new. Student accommodation, and what was once either the edge of the city office area or light industry. But both unis are taking over. I could have gone to a proper uni back in 1980, but I chose to do an apprenticeship because I felt I'd come out with a more balanced education, which I did do. I don't think you can learn anything in a classroom. I went to college, got an HNC, but I learnt more doing my apprenticeship at British Steel Rotherham in Deadman's Hole Lane. Got the most fantastic apprenticeship and life experiences as well. Two years in the training centre, and then 2 years on the steel plant. I worked in every department there, all across British Steel Rotherham, from Steel Peach and Tozer on Sheffield Road across to Roundwood of the Old Wood side. So I even worked in their telecommunications place on Wash Lane, and that's how I got in at Midland Bank in their telecoms department. So this is Bailey Lane, which is an offshoot, and I'll show you a quick sketch on it, but I'll probably do this street another time for you to be able to park on these side streets. And they've just, what's happening is they actually narrow the side streets as well. But there are still a few gemstones of old Sheffield in the middle of here, but not much. But when the Royal Oak Bakery pub gets knocked down, you know, they're just not interested in our past. They just don't want us to remember it. If we can remove people's past, it can change the future. Just here I can remember when I was at Midland, I put my own central heating system in, and I bought the radiators and boiler from somewhere about here. So we've got Ernest Wright over there. It says scissors and shears. But we should have a lot more of this history remaining and being repurposed rather than being knocked down. I'm just going to get over the road and just show you this pub. So we got Fagan's here, and that was it'd be full of bankers again or solicitors at lunchtime. Won't be any more. And I think you've all heard about, I think it was when the Welsh patron saint was being celebrated, Sheffield Council put up a flag for Scotland on the town hall, and that is the clown council we're dealing with. Looking back towards the city centre. But I'm hoping I'm horrifying people enough to actually do something. We're actually stood on the old Broad Lane Market, which was a cattle market, and they just now use it for parking. I mean, Rockingham Street is unrecognisable. Takes you up to West Street. If I just do your zoom down there, but who wants to live in this sort of thing? Who wants to live in a 15-minute smart city where you don't see any real organic businesses, just globalists pretending to be local companies? They're the only ones that's going to be able to run these businesses. Tesco's everywhere now. There's even a Tesco on Fargate in Sheffield. I just want to switch over and show you the other side of the road, but I'm trying to give you an idea. This was all low-level industrial land. Some of it's quite... This building here was actually already here. It's Sheffield University. We've got an interesting building here. I think there's some history around this building. So if you put Broad Lane Market area up, there's something on Google about this building. It was some important guy at the time, wealthy guy. All I can see around here is university. Now you've got an interesting feature here. The Sheffield arrows on it, whatever they call them. It's like some sort of water fountain. Just looking for the plaque on it. Same again, that'll be documented somewhere on Google if you want to have a look around. But there are a few gems left in Sheffield. All university buildings around here, North Campus. Looking back down Broad Lane. Cobble Market area. Livestock type of market. I do like wall art, but I don't like graffiti. I think there's a massive difference between that being nice wall art, which brightens the city up, and then the graffiti that's appearing all over my city. I've never seen so much. But if you've got any other videos you want me to do within the inner ring road that I haven't done, if you search on my channel you'll find lots of videos I've already done, and the idea is if I document things, we've always got them even though we've lost them. And the Royal Oak pub is that another bit of Sheffield history going down the drain. I think it's a pub called Roebuck Arms on Charles Street. Well, just up from there was another pub, Yorkshire Grey, and that just disappeared. I can't understand how that went. Just disappeared. Just taking away our past, building by building. It's just like one big university campus round here. There's your Broad Lane Market again. Now as the Broad Street comes down to the big roundabout, Parkway roundabout, and that takes you up the side of the flats if I'm right. So I do get them mixed up, Broad Lane and Broad Street. Whether they were probably joined at one bit. So we've got Mapping Street here. So we have still got the odd really nice building left. Now we've got a lot of these flats on this side, they're probably lower level ones. I think they've been around for some time, I could be wrong, with some older ones on the back of Broad Lane. Well, at one bit there have been lots of back-to-back houses around here, and this is why we've got such a beautiful church here, St George's I think it is. Get you a better angle on that church in a minute. But even down here, I'll show you the older type flats that have been here a long time, and you could park down here. I remember parking around these, never had any problems with break-ins in car. But these are the older flats, probably 1950s, after the slum clearances around here, but I don't believe a lot of the houses were slums. They wanted updating, they wanted new bathrooms, new roofs, but they don't make as much money out of doing that, do they? And I think, how are they going to fill all the buildings they're building in Sheffield? Another 20,000 places to live. But they've actually created the clean air problem in the city centre. If you can imagine, back in 2000 there was only probably about 10,000 people living in the city centre. And now, how many people are living there, and they're all crying out for clean air, but the air in the city centre is cleaner than where I live, out at Dinnington. Some days you think I were living in the middle of Sheffield with a constant stream of traffic past where I live. Because I go out, I'll walk if I can rather than getting the car out, and it's just a constant stream of traffic. So I believe there's more pollution out where I live than there is in city centre. But it's not really about clean air zone in Sheffield, it's about a tax. Because if you're willing to pay the tax, you're not bothered if you dirty the air. So that's a university building. So this St George's Church, you won't believe it, is now a psychology department. But 25th of March, Pinston Street, my Peace Gardens. We'll be meeting there at 12 lunchtime, and then about 1 o'clock we're going to have another march around Sheffield, wake more people up. We can't rely on social media to get the message out, and that's the problem. Too many people think everybody knows about the clean air zone and what the implications are with smart cities, but people are not seeing it on social media, and that is the reason we have to take the message to the folks of Sheffield. So come and join us, 25th of March, lunchtime. Now if you don't want to stand around and listen to people speaking, and you don't want to network and talk to other people, come along for the march at 1 PM. But it is quite awful around here. I mean, I love Lego bricks when I was a kid, but I don't want to live in a Lego brick land. So these will be older flats around here, interspersed with modern flats. Somebody pit right behind me, and I thought they were coming in, but they weren't. So we're just about up at the inner ring road, and it's just, like I said, all the way from West Bar up to here now. It's just university buildings or student buildings. Now it says Brook Hill here, so I don't know how far Broad Lane actually came up. Probably interchanged somewhere. So we're on one of the main roundabouts of the inner ring road. Now you can see the old 1950s, 60s flats that have been reclad. I wonder if it's the same cladding as what we had at, is it Grenfell in London, if I'm right? So this is the inner ring road coming up. That takes you up to the university, and I'll just zoom right in if I can. I can't zoom in because cars are too close. But you can see all the university buildings around here, and then you can see that building there, which if I zoom in on it, that's what was the tallest building in Sheffield, which was the Arts Tower for the university back in the 60s. So that's just a quick video from Tenter Street up to Broad Lane. I hope that's woke you up to fight for Sheffield's future. Unless you want to live in 1984.